Welcome back to the channel, and we've got another review of a slightly different aircraft for the channel. We haven't really done too much of the Japanese stuff, but this is one I've had in the stash for a little while. I'm very happy to have it. One of those long-term projects. I've got all the stuff in for it, but not sure when I'm going to start it. It needs to be the right time. Not sure it's going to be a video build either, but I thought I'd share it with you. So this is a Hasegawa kit. I'm not sure if I've built any Hasegawa kit, to be honest. I've got a few, and it is the B5N2, which is the Type 97, as we've got here, carrier attack bomber. So it's known as the Kate. There's a number of variants of it. It's all very similar, from what I can tell, and it's the three-man torpedo bomber that was used famously in Pearl Harbor and quite a long way through the war. So let's have a look inside. So what I've actually got here in the way of extras, I went a bit mad because I've done this over a period of time. So I was struggling to get canopy masks, and then all of a sudden found these. So I'm very happy that I've got that because it's quite a long canopy and I didn't fancy masking it myself. So we've got some Edward masks, which is very self-explanatory. And then I was just going to chuck some seatbelts at it, so that's why I've got the IJN seatbelts. However, I've got some other aircraft where that can be used, because then I came across this one, and as you can see with the hollowed out chair, a little bit of detail for the engine wiring, and inside the cockpit and the fins on the bombs. I think, am I being overly hopeful, expecting yet another fret? I thought there was a little bit more. We'll have a look at the instructions of this anyway. No, I think it is just the 2 frets and a film. Yeah. And here you can see the sort of thing that we're replacing. So we've got some frontage here for the radio dials, a few small finer parts here on, that looks like a little handle. We've got some handles for the ammunition drums, a little bit on the center control panel there as well, and a few bits going on to the sidewalls, new seats, 2 new chairs even, sorry, and one that gets enhanced with some harnesses which are in the kit, and again a bit more frontage there for different dials and that sort of thing. That's mainly what we're sorting out here. A little bit going on inside the engine, just the ignition wires really, it looks like. A little bit on the undercarriage as well. It's mainly in the cockpit, as you would expect, and with a kit this size, you know, you need to do a little bit in the cockpit, I think. And there we go with the canopy mask as well. That's the set we got. It's all very interesting. Now, if there is anything to know about Hasegawa kits, it is the decals, unfortunately. I got this kit second hand, and the decals are very well looked after. However, they are well known for the white parts yellowing, and I mean it's happened here, but you can see how there's not much white. So we've just got a bit there. So we've got a little bit here, which is a bit yellowed. A little bit down here, which is white. I'm not sure if these bands are actually meant to be the hemp colour. And you can see the white in there is now yellowing as well. It's almost printed like that. It's not anything to do with yellow decals. They're actually in quite good order. Quite thick carrier film, but I probably won't be using any of those, as you can see that the markings are quite simple to sort out. And we'll get onto that in a minute. I'm going to probably make my own masks when I get onto it. So what we've got is the instructions and a great big bag of plastic. The previous owner has actually bagged that up separately, so let's get all that up. So typical stuff, we've got a write up here in Japanese and in English. Then we've got a parts breakdown there, which shows us that we've got the upper parts of the wing, lower part, one-piece wing, fuselage, cockpit, landing gear, and a few small assorted bits there as well, all showing quite clearly. Then we get into the fold out instructions, and you can see there's quite a lot going on in the cockpit here, all the way down through there. So we get that together as a large floor and the 2 side walls. Then it goes into the fuselage there as well. Bring all that together onto the wing. Simple construction, but there's a lot to do. There's plenty of detail there. And then we run on into the landing gear and the canopy. As you can see, it was 6 steps, but there's a hell of a lot happening here. That's the way they've decided to break it up. And then that brings the model to completion. We've got paint call-outs here are Mr. Hobby, and then we've got a description as well. Bit tricky on some of the Japanese colours, and that's the two marking schemes. I'm not sure whether I'll do either of these, but as you can see, it's even the same aircraft, isn't it? Or is it from the same? It might be on the same carrier, right? So that's the second wave at Pearl Harbor. This is the first wave at Pearl Harbor, so obviously different aircraft. Of course, different serial number. I was getting confused by the 7. So we've got a camouflage one here, with quite interesting with the camouflage overlapping down onto the lower wing in quite a rough pattern, I suppose. And then this one is still camouflage, but not quite as much. And they look like that's got the red tail. This doesn't. The camouflage goes on up through there. If I was going to pick either, I'm probably more looking at this one, to be honest. But it's going to be a Pearl Harbor aircraft I'll be choosing. As you can see, you know, cutting out the 7, cutting out these serial numbers as far as doing your own masking is what I'm referring to. Should be simple enough. We've got a bit of stencil data here that I might be able to pick up on another sheet. So that's what I'm looking at. It's always a pain with the Hasegawa kits. Now I apologise, this might not show up too well on the almost identical colour background. I hadn't really thought of that. But what we got here is the two fuselage halves and the cockpit floor and the sidewalls. Now I have no idea why they've done this, because this kit is almost perfect as far as ejection pin marks and all that sort of thing. However, you may notice that the cockpit sidewalls are the other way around. So we've got the floor here, no ejector pin marks whatsoever, no ejector pin marks on the outside of the fuselage because it's being pushed from this side, but the detail is on the inside for the wall detail, and we've got all the ejector pin marks on this blind side, and there you can see that we've got quite a few ejector pin marks now inside this detail, which is a real sort of pain to try and get hold of and get them out. It's not impossible with a sanding stick or a file. If it's raised, it'll be easy enough to get rid of. If you've got to fill it, you know, dab a super glue and that sort of thing. But I do have a feeling if they just moved it the other way, I don't know, maybe they wouldn't been able to get it out the mould as easy, but it's a real pain. It would have been nice to not have any of those there. But everything else is okay. There we can see the detail on the floor, and we've got the fine surface detail there as well on the fuselage halves. All nice recessed panel lines. Then we've got some engine detail there as well showing, which looks okay. And one of the cowling pieces has come off, but it's okay, I've got that. Then we're on to the wings, which has got the one-piece lower wing with the quite simple wheel hubs, which wheel wells, which were quite simple. Very, very fine going out to the leading edge there, the trailing edge, sorry. It's extremely nice. We've got riveting detail on these raised panels here, and then we've got flush and recessed lines, panel lines. And we've also got rivets just going around the outside of those panel lines. All nice detail, and a little bit of subtle fabric detail there as well. That's the detail there. We can see we've got raised panels here, as they would be, and that's raised rivets on there. Which might be difficult to show. It's all very nice, and we've got the same large panels here with raised rivets. And then we've got recessed rivets and panel lines all the way through there. Then we've got another few sprues here that are all separately bagged. So we've got instrument panel, which looks quite good there. Raised bezels. And there's quite a bit of that, as there's 3 guys in there. They've each got, there's another panel going back, and a few more radio and switches and stuff to man. Got a one-piece cowling there, which looks the part. Looks pretty good. Nicely moulded. Good detail there. Recessed panel lines and rivets on that. And then we've got a bomb sprue there as well. Just seems to be a single bomb. Presumably there's more of that to come. So here we've got some more different bombs. That might actually be some sort of torpedo I just showed there before, so let me know in the comments below. I have no idea what I'm looking at really, but it is a torpedo bomber and an actual bomber as well. and this set is called Bombard Command, Pearl Harbor Bombard Command. I'm not sure what that's referring to, but we've got another bomb there. Then we've got a few smaller parts for landing gear and a few interior parts there as well. A couple of chairs, rudder pedals, machine gun, all starting to show up. And then we've finally got tailplanes, well, horizontal stabilizers with nice recessed rivets across there, and recessed panel lines and fabric detail, and quite a nice looking propeller there, very crisply moulded. And you can see what I mean. This is going to be a lovely kit, but I kind of want to take my time with it, and not that filming it would ruin it, but it's the sort of thing where I'd have to be in the right frame of mind. And here are the clear parts. So we've got one piece there, all together if you want to have a closed canopy, or we've got the open parts in sections. I know that's not showing up very well, but it is extremely clear. We've got the shadowing, I think, is causing a problem. That's not really helped, but you can see it's crystal clear. Nice, good strong detail there as well with the framing. It looks really good, really good. And now I've only ever heard good things about Hasegawa kits. I've only had one friend who's ever built a Hasegawa kit and said it was a terrible build and he's put off for life. Let's see if he comments on the video, but we'll have to take that with a pinch of salt, because my understanding is Hasegawa kits are extremely good. So I'll know once I've built this one, I'm imagining.